Hi YouTube, and this is JTrain997, and I'm back this time with my review of the DC Universe Classics Toys R Us exclusive Green Lantern figure pack, Abin and the Green Lantern, or Hal Jordan. I don't know why they just gave him billing as the Green Lantern. They're both Green Lanterns. But this was one of the first initial 2-packs that Toys R Us released quite a while back. Of course, I thought my chance to get these were long gone without forking out a pretty decent amount of cash on eBay, but apparently they re-released this one and the Superman pack. Someone had already picked up the Superman pack by the time I got to Toys R Us, but anyways, of course, you can see in the package, the only accessory they come with is the single lantern. And I've got to say, I really didn't care to have Hal, even though there's some minor paint tweaks from him and his DC Universe Wave 3 release. I mainly picked this pack up for Abin, but on to the rest of the packaging. Of course, on the back here you have a picture of both of them. Down here it says Abin. While on patrol, Abin was attacked and pursued by the being known as the Legion. Badly injured and with his spaceship seriously damaged, he made an emergency landing on Earth and began using his power ring to search for a successor to wield the ring after he passed on. As Hal Jordan was the closest suitable replacement, he was chosen as Abin's successor. Of course, now here's his stats. Real name Abin, base of operations Ungara. First appearance showcase number 22, October 1959. Special skills, travel through space, imagine and create images, translate languages. Of course, over here it says Green Lantern, or Hal Jordan. Once again, I don't see why they just didn't say Hal Jordan. But it says, while training in a flight simulator, test pilot Hal Jordan was suddenly transported to the crash site of an alien spacecraft. The injured pilot passed to Jordan his green ring and his uniform. The ring allowed him to make real anything that he could imagine, from flying unaided through space to lifting mountains with it. Jordan, chosen by the ring itself, became the fearless, because of his fearlessness, must fight evil as a member of the Green Lantern Corps. Stats, real name Hal Jordan, occupation test pilot, base of operations Coast City / Space Sector 2814. First appearance showcase number 22 of October 1959. Special skills, travel through space, imagine and create images, translate languages. Of course, down here you have a look at the Mongol Cyborg Superman 2-pack, which honestly wasn't in that big of a rush to get. We already got the Cyborg Superman and his Sinestro Corps outfit recently, and we're getting Mongol and upcoming Blackest Night line. So that being said, let's open these bad boys up. And here we have them out of packaging, and we're going to be looking at Abin first. Of course, look at a quick 360 of him. It looks like both figures utilize the exact same body sculpt, so the only real difference is in the head. I'm also going to show both of them holding the lantern just to show that they both fit fine, but as you can see here, the lantern fits just fine as long as you've got it by the main handle in his hand. Pulling that out really quick. Once again, I've said this before in lantern reviews, but I would have liked it if his lantern was a more similar shade of green, like on his uniform, to his uniform, I mean. Of course, the handle can spin if you'd want to put it in some different pose. But that being said, let's go on to Abin, and let's be having a look at his face sculpt really quick. Of course, very nice detail on that. See some veins in his forehead. Of course, nice detail all down his uniform. And of course, oops, lost focus there for a second. So there's actually some pretty nice detail on his ring as well. Well, I've said this before, but people always knock me for complaining that the Blackest Night figures' rings are very poorly detailed, and everybody's like, oh, there's it'd be way too hard to make the rings detailed. DC Universes are produced on a much larger scale than DC Directs, and their rings are great. But that being said, let's go into articulation. Head does the full 360 and goes up and down. Arms go out and do 360 degrees. Bend at the elbow, swivel at the bicep and wrist joint. All very nice, very free moving, but not too loose. So a very nice balance of, articulation stiffness. Bends at the abdomen, swivels at the waist. Legs go out. Bends at the knee, turns at the quadricep, and an ankle joint. So overall, like I said, Abin was the big draw for buying the package, the 2-pack for me. So I'm glad he's a very solid figure. I can't really say he wows me, but at this point I'm really just trying to amp up my core. The DC Universe seems like they're really wanting to make a pretty decent Green Lantern collection, and I'm very glad about that. So that being said, oops, trying to get him into a pretty dynamic pose here. That being said, let's go on to the Hal Jordan that came with this pack. And here we have Hal Jordan out of packaging. Once again, he's holding the same lantern. Of course, once again, it fits absolutely fine in his hand, as you can see there. His hand seemed to be a little bit more, his fingers were a little more curled up than Abin's were, so it was a little bit harder to get the lantern in his hands, but not too hard. Like I said, they use the exact same body, so not a whole lot to complain about. But I will say this, his articulation, it's a little stiffer in the upper torso, but then you get to the lower torso and it's a little bit looser than I'd like it to be. But he does have the exact same articulation as Abin, albeit a little stiff in the upper torso, a little bit looser in the lower torso. And that's probably just quality control of mine, and it's not terrible. I mean, he's standing just fine, as you can see. So, very glad to have this guy. Full range. Now, let's get a quick look at his detail on there. As you can see, a very nice face sculpt. Great deal on the costume. And, yeah, once again, same ring as it came with Abin. Exact same body, once again. That being said, let's actually get a comparison in here to the Wave 3 Hal as soon as I pop this guy's lantern back into his hand. Once again, hands are a little bit curled up. Fingers are a little bit curled up. So, get him posed. And here is the Wave 3 Hal Jordan. And as you can see, there's very few differences, mainly being in the torso of his costume as far as paint. And it looks like this Hal got a little bit glossier brown paint on his hair. A little bit glossier paint in general, actually. Looks like their lanterns are pretty much the same, though. So, overall, when I first bought this pack, I was thinking, oh, I'm just going to throw this guy on eBay. I've got to say, having him here side by side, I do think he warrants keeping. I mean, he's different enough to keep. Hal did wear this costume, just wasn't quite the one I remembered. This is really the one I remember him most in. I'll probably just end up painting this guy, the side of his hair, white to match up with some of the other comics. I always wondered why they didn't release a variant of that. But that being said, let's go into a final thoughts on this pack, which, easy enough. Let's just put Abin back out here. Oh, his leg's a little off-kilter. And there we go. So, they're re-releasing these. They've apparently been re-releasing them. I hadn't heard about it. If you can find these at your Toys R Us... Excuse me, stumbled there. If you can find these at your Toys R Us store, they're going to run you $30. Now, I voiced my opinion before. I think this sudden price hike in the DC Universe is absolutely ridiculous. We were paying $20 for these, and they jump up by $10. It really seemed like a giant screw you to the consumers. But I really wanted to amp up my Green Lantern collection, especially with that Walmart exclusive 5-pack we've got coming out later this year. So, if you're a Green Lantern fan and you really want Abin, I'd say go for it. They're both solid figures, great articulation. Like I said, neither of them really blew me out of the water, but I wasn't expecting that. I was, what I was expecting, it delivered on. So, I think the price is a bit steep, and here's my other complaint. I figured when they re-released these, the online price would drop. It didn't. It stayed firm at about $50. So if you can't find these at your local Toys R Us, you're going to end up paying $50 plus shipping off of eBay or another site. I wouldn't pay that. I'd stand firm and wait for these to show back up at your Toys R Us. But that being said, this is JTrain997. I solidly love the DC Universe Green Lantern pack, and I'll see you soon, YouTube.